Hello, welcome to the Sedona Community Forum Online. I'm Linda Shook, Associate Dean of the Sedona Center and Director of OLLI, the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute of Sedona and Verde Valley. This program is sponsored by the Lifelong Learning Division of Yavapai College.
Hi, I'm Paul Friedman, an OLLI volunteer facilitator, and we're co-hosting this spring term sessions of the Sedona Community Forum. In these programs, we'll hear from and interact with local leaders whose work is especially affected by and helping our community respond to the current pandemic.
Our aim with these programs is to give you, our viewers, an inside look at what local leaders are doing, the decisions they make, and why they're making the choices they make.
Our guest of honor today is Dennis Deardon, the Superintendent of the Sedona-Oak Creek School District. Denny, you had to close your schools and shift all contact with students to the internet. This has been a very demanding period for you, for the teachers, for your staff, for the students. How are you doing today?
Well, thanks for Paul for having me on today. And yeah, it's been a very stressful time to say the least. I remember March 13th through, I think it was March 9th through 13, we had spring break. And this was when all this was coming together. And on Sunday, the 15th, the superintendents in the Verde Valley had a meeting. It was on a Sunday to determine if we were going to go back, because a few schools around the state had already closed. We were getting information from health officials that maybe it would be okay for students to stay in school, but we decided as a group that we were going to take 2 weeks to determine the situation, make sure our kids were safe. The following day, of course, the governor made a decision to close all schools around the state. And so it was a very interesting time. We really had 2 days to prepare with our teachers to launch a situation where we were doing online learning and or remote learning. And so after we got through that 2 weeks, or we met with our staff, and we said, you know, we have to create a situation, make the best out of this situation that we can, but we want to make it as rigorous as we can for our students, but be flexible. We have to use common sense with this. We can't overload them so much with remote type of learning that some of them may not even be accustomed to. And then we run the risk of some of our students didn't even have computers. So we worked with our teachers for Monday and Tuesday, and then we dismissed all of our staff, except for a few of us that continue to work from our office at school, so that we can keep our students answer questions from parents, answer questions from our staff, provide the support necessary for them to keep moving. We have learned a lot, Paul, in this very short time. And our teachers have really stepped up to the plate. They've been incredible. They've learned from each other. Anywhere from doing Zoom classroom presentations to using YouTube type things to Google platform and Google Classroom type of online learning. We prepare that not only online, but we provide it for them to pick up their homework every Monday. So we have students coming in to pick up their homework. Our teachers grade that homework, and students are assigned grades for the things they do. So it's been a real challenging thing for us to do. One of the things that the state required us to do is they gave us a lot of flexibility in how we could do this. And so we obviously gave our teachers the flexibility. But the things they have learned from each other, they pick up new techniques, they teach each other different types of things. So in the long run, if there's a silver lining from all this, our teachers are going to be more knowledgeable about some of the online things that they can do and how they can prepare students at home if this should ever happen again. And they've learned new tools. And so, you know, they've been sending out, some of them send out videos to our students to make, because now we're in a situation, Paul, where kids have been out a long time and they're getting depressed about it, some of them. And so it's really important for our teachers to keep that connection with our students, to make sure that they're okay. Our counselors are constantly calling students. They're communicating with teachers that may sense a student has a specific need or a depression, that type of thing. So we're trying to reach out to them in that vein. But it's been a true learning experience. I don't think we've all worked harder in a short period of time to put all this together. But I will say I'm very proud of everything everybody's doing. We've not only done that, we've reached out to families. We have provided over 125 Chromebooks to kids to check out. And one unique thing we had, the Lions Club step up and give us some money to repurpose some computers that were non-commissioned. So we had 125 of them. We all chipped in and cleaned them, got them ready, got them ready for students, and gave them for free to students who did not have computers at home. So those were 125 families that will help us in the future when we go back to school, because we had to work hard to identify those families. They were so appreciative when they came to our campus to get those computers, and it was like Christmas to them. So we felt good about that. We've also fed, which was a mandate from the state, we have fed over 7,000 students since this thing hit. So we do that daily. We go to each bus stop and deliver breakfast and lunch to those students. So with delivering food every morning, with making sure people pick up their homework, contacting parents, and we encourage teachers to contact, and they have to keep a log of the teachers that they, or the parents that they contact. And that's required because we had to submit on April 15th. We had to submit a form that says we're actually doing what we're saying we're doing, that we're doing learning, giving students learning opportunities, that we're feeding kids, and that, so we had to come up with a whole scenario of what we were doing. And at the end of the year, we'll have to be accountable for that. So a lot of districts around the state are doing it differently. We tried to stay to the letter of the law, and our biggest thing was we want to make sure that learning continues. We want to make sure that our teachers are connecting with students. Even during this very difficult time, we thought that was very important. So with all of that, now we have graduation coming up. We don't know what the governor's going to do on April 30th. If he will lift some of these restrictions, but my gut feeling is this will go on for a while, especially for school, because we have canceled school for the year. So what we're trying to figure out is, what will summer school look like? Will it be continued some type of online remote learning, or will it be an in-person thing that we can have students come on campus and that type of thing? But there were a lot of challenges, you know, when you think about it. Special ed, how do you continue with the IEP meetings and all this stuff with special ed? We were able to do that. We figured out a way to do that, provide services for our special ed students and so forth. And we have some individual tutoring even going on at campus, 1 or 2 students at a time that maybe are struggling in math that come and get some specific tutoring. And so we're trying to make it as normal as we can under the circumstances. But I do feel bad for our seniors. They missed out on proms. They missed out on some opportunities that kind of highlight the end of the year and their, school years that, they try to accomplish by the end of the year. And so I feel bad about that. But in lieu of that, we're working hard to come up with a graduation ceremony. It'll be a virtual graduation. But I think when it's all said and done, I think people will understand how much work, time, and effort that we put into it to make it special for our students.
Yeah, I bet. I just saw an article today saying that It's especially difficult for teachers staying at home who have their own children at home. They're not free fully during the day. So I guess they're just working their flexible hours, squeezing in their reactions to students and contacts with students whenever they can, along with their family responsibilities.
Yeah, especially some of our younger teachers that have young kids at home themselves. It makes it a little more difficult. But again, Paul, I'm very proud of our teachers. They have really stepped up in this difficult time. And so have our administrators, our support staff. You know, we had to have people get paid. They could work remotely if they could do their job remotely. But we have several people that can't do that. I mean, like a custodian, you can't stay home and clean buildings if that's your job. So we provided where we could, people who couldn't come in, I mean, couldn't do it at home, different types of opportunities so they could still get paid. Our custodian, our campus is going to be the cleanest in the world by the time school starts. I'm really pleased with that. They're painting, they're doing some great things. And, you know, for the most part, we've made a good situation out of a bad thing.
Or even, what about extracurricular stuff? Music, sports, drama?
Well, they've all been canceled. That was canceled by the Arizona Interscholastic Athletics Association. And that's unfortunate too, because, you know, our spring sports, they got about 3 games in on baseball, softball, a few, maybe 1 or 2 matches for tennis, and track had 1 meet, and then it was all canceled. You know, and for some of those seniors that, you know, that was their kind of highlight, finishing up their senior year in a particular sport, and then to see it got canceled. So that's on hold too. We don't know what's going to happen. We hope, our best hope is everything gets back and we open a new school year with some caution and on time.
Are you primarily on your own here, or do you have any contact with other superintendents, with professional associations, with the Board of Education in Phoenix? Is there connections beyond the district?
Absolutely. In fact, I've been on 2 of them today already.
Wow.
And we do that. It's been very healthy for us. Our Verde Valley superintendents, we meet remotely on Zoom once a week. Our Verde Valley, all our meetings that we typically have as superintendents have continued, but they do it on Zoom, as we have our last board meeting, and we'll continue to do our board meetings for the next at least 1 or 2. So I think that's been very helpful. You know, we all glean a little bit of knowledge from each other, and we're always asking questions. How are you handling this? What are you doing about this? And I think it's important, all of our superintendents in the Verde Valley and around the state, to be on the same page. I mean, we're fighting this together, truly. And we need to be working together, learning from each other, and supporting each other during this difficult time.
Has there been any particular moment when you had to make a tough decision, when you weren't certain and you had to make a choice between priorities, or had to do something that you regret, was painful to do but had to be done, or you pretty much is the dates and times and schedules of things coming from the state office,
A little bit of both. We've got some general direction from Arizona Department of Education, the governor, and so forth, what we have to do. But there's so much more to it to make it a quality learning experience. You know, it's easy to send out a link and say, watch it with your child and so forth, or have fun watching a movie. But to really try to put lessons together that are meaningful, to grade those lessons and hold everybody accountable for doing that. Because it's really important for our teachers to connect with our students and parents. And if they're not doing it, we give them a gentle nudge. But it's important to have that occur. every day we're making tough decisions, you know, what we have to do. And right now we're preparing, oh, what's the worst scenario? What if we don't go back to school in time? What is summer school going to look like? Is it going to be online, remotely, or is it going to be something in person?
Sure.
What's graduation going to be like? You know, we've had suggestions, well, we need to hold out and just do a traditional graduation.
Yeah.
Well, you run a risk then of not having anything, because we don't know how long this is going to go. And I just read an article today about rural types of settings that we're way behind what urban settings are with this pandemic.
Yes.
And it could get worse for us in the next month or so. We don't know that. There's just so many unknowns. And you watch TV at night and something else pops up. And so what we're trying to do is prepare. But we really feel strongly that you know, our seniors need a graduation and to celebrate their life in school. But to take a risk and say, well, we're going to do it in June, that's assuming all this is going to be over, and we know it's not going to be. Even if we go back to work or some of these restrictions are lifted, it's not going to be the same. We're still going to have, we're not going to be able to congregate big groups of people together. We're still going to have to be cautious with that. And to bring 700 or 800 people in an auditorium would be very irresponsible.
Sure, sure. I imagine there are some kids whose parents are home and are well educated, and they're working together at home to keep up their learning progress. And other kids are, their parents are not home, or their parents are not English speaking in this community. Is there any way that you can adapt to the differing needs? It's not like all the kids are in the same room where a teacher can walk around and help them as needed. Is there a way you can provide some sort of assistance to kids with a less supportive home environment?
Yes, and we try to do that. One of the things that I just mentioned, we try to provide kids with free computers, those iMac computers, make sure they're hooked up, make sure we assist them in getting internet services. Some of them didn't have internet service, so we work with local companies to get that happen. You know, of course, we're feeding families, but some parents are more skilled than others in terms of, you know, providing an environment. Some kids are more motivated. They can get through this. And there's other kids that are not. And so that's been the challenge, is to making sure that everybody's learning in some capacity. That's why it's so important for teachers to connect with those families, to connect with students, to ask those type of things. What do you need? How can we assist you? And that is certainly going to be a challenge in the future too.
Lots of phone calls going on to communicate one-to-one.
And again, our teachers are doing a phenomenal job.
Great.
And I'm always amazed when I see what they're doing, or they'll send me a video clip what they did that day, or invite me to a Zoom classroom. Some of the teachers are using that 2 or 3 times a week to conduct classes, and you can see the kids interact. But I can tell you, kids are missing school. Teachers are missing kids in the traditional way that we educate them, to see them every day. I certainly do. I mean, it's not the same. I love it when the buildings are full of kids, that the teachers are there, that we're supporting them. And I saw a cartoon recently. It was kind of funny that that said parents are about ready to learn that teachers were not the problems.
Yeah. So, I bet.
I think our parents are very anxious for school to resume, and I think all of them have a different appreciation for each other going through this.
So just one last thing. Is there any way that those of us watching this message in the community, any way that people in the community can be of assistance or contribute to your efforts?
Have, Paul, and it's been very heartwarming for us. We've had people step up, like I shared with you, a group stepped up. The Lions Club gave us money to be able to give over 125 of iMacs that we purposed and so forth to students. We have some community members helping us deliver food on weekends. We have some people helping us daily to deliver where we miss some students during the day. They take out food. So we have one community member cooking for the central office staff on Wednesdays. We just got done with a great meal. She does a fabulous job. You know, I think the community has really stepped up, you know, and it's difficult for them because many of them can't be around. I mean, we're not supposed to be in contact with anybody right now. So it's very hard to say, okay, I'm going to come up and help and not know what to do. But, you know, Aletheia Church, for example, has done a great job in providing and helping with deliveries for us, helping with the grounds, keeping the grounds clean and that type of thing, because that can be overwhelming for us. Is you know, we have
what's the what's the point of contact for these services? Is there?
I would either contact me or Jennifer Chilton, who coordinates all this for our district, and we certainly want to keep our community safe during this time, but we also appreciate any help that they can give us.
Okay, and that your contact information is on the website.
Yes.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Go to the school district website, Sedona-Oak Creek Unified School District website.
Yeah, it'd be Sedona K12.org.
K12. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks, Dennis Deardon, Superintendent of the Sedona-Oak Creek School District. And we appreciate your bringing us up to date about what's going on. And we thank you most heartily for the dedicated work that you and your staff and everybody associated with the schools are doing.
I appreciate
so take care, and we'll be in touch again, maybe as this situation goes on.
Yes, I really appreciate what you do at OLLI, and you've done a wonderful job, Paul, and Linda, your leadership has really been noticed also. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dennis. We're going to continue the Sedona Community Forum online with these dialogues. You'll be able to access these recordings using the OLLI website, Facebook page, or YouTube channel. Just simply go to the Google and search OLLI at Sedona Verde Valley. Thank you and have a nice day.